Hey, welcome back to the setup video series for radials. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your first radial menu. So let's go ahead and open up radials. I already have ZBrush 2026 in here. Again, the things that I'm going to show you work exactly the same for any version of ZBrush. It's exactly the same thing. Everything happens within the radials app. So it doesn't matter which version of ZBrush you have. But if you have a different version from 2026, you can go back to the videos where I show you how to set it up for 2022 or any of those versions. So let's go ahead and go to the RadialZ plugin here. And you'll see we don't have any menus yet. I'm going to click on Add Menu to start creating the first one. So let's click on Add Menu. And we're going to name it My Basic Brushes. But you can name it absolutely anything that you want. Now, for the hotkey, I'm going to record an Alt-A. Again, this could be absolutely anything that you want. I would recommend something that you haven't used in ZBrush. And I know for a fact, most of my shortcuts with Alt are on use. So if I press Alt and something else, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna, override or change anything in ZBrush. Now, if for whatever reason you use a hotkey here that has been already used for ZBrush, what happens is that you're gonna trigger two things at once. And I will show you that in just a second so that you're aware. And if it happens to you, you know how to fix it. Now, for the slot shape, I'm gonna go for the circle, and I'll cover the rectangle shape and what you can do with it in a different video. But for now, we're gonna keep it simple. And I'm gonna click on Advanced Brush Menu. Again, I'll cover the basic radial menu in a different video. This is just a straightforward radial menu that holds all your brushes and you can start sculpting straight away. So that's it. Name, hotkey, circle shape, and advanced menu. Let's click on Create Menu. And here we go. So we now have our menu ready. Now, before we customize anything and add any brush, I just wanna show you the thing that I mentioned. So I have it set as Alt-A. Now, if I go back into ZBrush and I press the Alt-A, and I'm pressing it and nothing happens, make sure that you save those changes. So let's go back in here in radials and let's click on Save Changes. All right, that could be something that if you're setting up multiple menus at once and you forgot to save it and you try it, nothing is gonna happen. So again, Alt-A, let's go ahead and press Alt-A now. And here we go. So we now have our radial menu working. Of course, we don't have any brushes or anything set up, but the menu is working. Now, I wanna show you the conflict of the shortcuts just in case it happens to you. So let's go back in here and I'm gonna press F3. And you see at the bottom it says heads up, F1 to F5 is something that ZBrush uses. But anyway, it's just a little warning sign. But I'm gonna use F3 just to show you how it works. And I'm gonna save the changes. So now if I go in here and I press F3, my radial menu is gonna work, but also it's gonna trigger that custom palette or that sort of quick pick palette for the stroke in ZBrush. That is because ZBrush uses already that F3. So if you're doing that and you're getting frustrated because every time that you press your custom shortcut, it triggers your radials, but also something else in ZBrush, that is the issue. So let's go back and fix that quickly. I'm gonna clear this and I'm gonna press Alt-A, save changes. Okay, so Alt-A, there we go. Now we have our radials and nothing else is being affected. All right, so let's go ahead and click on Edit Menu. And this edit menu, this is basically where you can set up and build your own custom set of shortcuts. So let's go ahead and increase that a little bit. And we can also make the thumbnails a little bit bigger so you can see which ones I'm using. And here is our preview of the radial menu. So I'm also gonna make it a bit bigger so that we can see a few things. So you can make multiple menus. You can create multiple sub-menus and add children brushes and all of that good stuff. We're gonna keep it super simple in this video, and then I'll show you how to create more complex and more advanced stuff. So for this basic brush, because that's how we call these brushes, the basic brushes, I'm gonna use the basic brushes that I use all the time. So I'm gonna type standard, and where are we? Standard brush, and here we go. So here's the standard. I'm gonna click, and I'm gonna drag it to the slot 1. Great, so now we have the standard brush. Let's do the same thing with the move brush. Again, you can absolutely choose whatever brush it works for your workflow. This is the whole point of radials. I'm just showing you the brushes that I use the most, and I'll put it in this as my starting point. So inflate is something that I use as well quite a bit. Also pinch. And let's do a couple more, like clay buildup. I also use the clay tubes quite a bit. Let's put that in there. And one more that would be very handy will be the damn standard brush. Let's drag that in there. Perfect. So we now have some of the standard basic brushes that we need. Let's go ahead and click on Save and Close. And let's save and close here just in case. Let's go back in here. And now we can press the Alt-A and we now have our custom set of brushes. So that's it. We can just start, sculpting. So let's bring in our custom radials. I'm going to click on the damp standard and it will be loaded straight away. Let's activate symmetry and then we can start adding, changing and modifying our sculpt to whatever we want. Let's go with pinch. Let's pinch those in there. Redyna mesh. So this is just more about the fun part of sculpting once you have your radial menu. So as you can see, it's pretty easy, pretty simple to set up. And, the sky's the limit here. You can change this and have as many shortcuts or as many radial menus as you want. So just to wrap up this video and to cover that one more time, I'm going to minimize the ZBrush window and I'm going to click on another menu. So I'm going to click on Add Menu. And this time I'm going to call it Advanced Custom. Well, let's just call it Custom. I mean, the shorter the name, the better, I think. And for this hotkey, I'm going to press the Alt Q, for example. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing, just a quick recap. And that's it. Let's go ahead and save. And I'm going to click on Edit Menu. But this time, I'm going to use a set of custom brushes. So I'll just use, this is a little bit random, but I want to show you that all of these brushes are custom from my pack of brushes. And I'll show you something else really quickly that might be helpful. So something like this, skin brushes as well. And this one that I showed you before. All right. So that's it, just a custom brush. All of these ones are custom. And let's save, let's go back into ZBrush. So now if I press Alt Q, here is my set of custom brushes. If I press Alt A, these are all my standard brushes. So I can switch between the Alt A and Alt Q with custom brushes or my kind of like standard brushes that I would use for anything. So let me just show you that I can click on this one and it would load my custom brush, right? Or let's use this one to add some scales, right? Maybe some folds. Beautiful sculpt. All right. Right? So the point is that we now have two different custom menus that are triggered with two different shortcuts. And then we can have, more brushes because we're setting up two different radials. And if you're interested to get some of those more custom brushes or the ones that I've shown you here, I have added something here for convenience into the RadialZ app. You can click on the ZBrush store and you can get some of these brushes. That's it. Some of them are free, so you can just filter by free and get those ones and try them out. But this concludes this video of the simple setup of your first radial menu. Hopefully this has been of help, and stick around for other videos if you want to know more about more complex setup, or if you want to add more brushes like children brushes or nested menus within your radials. I have a few videos covering all of that. I'll see you there.